On March 16th, someone's O must go. The champion, Errol Spence Jr., 24-0, 21 knockouts. The challenger, 4-division world champion, Mikey Garcia, 39-0 with 30 knockouts. In this video, I'll give a breakdown and a career spotlight of both fighters. Spence Jr. was a highly regarded amateur, receiving several medals in national and world championships. He started his professional career in late 2012 as a highly praised prospect. As he was slowly going up through the ranks, he was famously Floyd Mayweather's sparring partner, in which he learned a lot and made Mayweather the sharpest he could be for his fights. Most notably, Spence was also Adrian Broner's sparring partner, as Broner was still undefeated at the time, I believe, and the hype of him was at its peak. Errol was rumored to have knocked Broner out in training.
What happened when you sparred with Floyd?
Basically we were sparring and I hit him with a good clean shot and he got hurt.
You had to stop it.
Yeah.
At the end of 2014, with Mayweather-Pacquiao in talks, these two fighters having the bulk of the belts, Kell Brook being the only target for Spence to fight. In late 2014, going to 2015, Spence was incredibly active. Not having the money and star power to back him up to get a shot to fight someone who's already in line to fight Brook's IBF belt, Spence had to take the long route. Spence Jr. went on a 7-fight, year-and-a-half campaign against ranked IBF opponents to get him in a position to beat Kell Brook's mandatory.
Wow, and down he goes for the first time in his career.
He blew through all these guys. 7 fights, all 7 by KO.
State of New York only one time. That last round, and he goes down again. Spence does it again.
With a Spence, but now Spence going to work, and he drops Bundu, and this one could be over. Oh my goodness, Kell Brook, you have some company.
None of these opponents were a pushover, with the total record of 178-15. By the end of 2015, Spence was awarded ESPN and Sports Illustrated Prospect of the Year. Spence made his campaign so easy that some, even myself, questioned if he was ready against Kell Brook. May of 2017, the fight was on. Early in the fight, it was rather even. Spence made amazing adjustments, and thanks to his early body work, he was able to wear Brook down.
It is all over, and Errol Spence Jr. is a new star of world boxing. Congratulations.
For the state of the welterweight division, to where there is a lot of politics and a fair amount of fighters are just gathering dust on the shelf waiting for a title shot, Spence's year-and-a-half campaign to earn that fight was absolutely impressive. Spence's first title defense was against the former IBF champion, Lamont Peterson. Peterson in his previous fight with Danny Garcia looked amazing. Though he had lost, he didn't seem to lose a step. If you were paying attention to the build-up to this fight, Peterson by far came in his best shape of his career. Peterson trained specifically to withstand Spence's killer body attack offense. Early in the fight, Peterson's training did pay off, but he was really taking too many shots for his own good. With the body gone, the head would follow. Spence was able to knock Peterson down in the 5th. Spence now smelling blood. Within 2 rounds, Peterson's corner waved it off. Spence's next fight was more of a homecoming showcase of his skills and established a relationship with Cowboys owner Jerry Jones to set up a big fight in his venue in the future, in which his next fight is in Jerry Jones's arena. Mikey, like Spence, was also a highly regarded amateur, winning plenty of national medals. He started his pro debut July 2006 in the featherweight division at the age of 18 years old. 4 years and 24 fights later, Mikey is given his first real big test against undefeated Matt Remillard. For the NABF and WBO NABO title, Garcia dominated the fight.
Remillard is in. Remillard, a big right to left, and he's down again.
Matt was badly beaten with a left partially detached ear, and his corner threw in the towel coming into the 11th round. In 2011, Mikey was fully ready to get into title contention, rising through the ranks. By the end of 2012, Garcia was in a position to fight for the WBO featherweight title, which was held by Orlando Salido, who previously beaten Juan Manuel Lopez and a Fight of the Year candidate. Garcia completely shut out and outclassed Salido. Winning by a technical decision due to Salido's head severely cutting the bridge of Garcia's nose. Garcia would fight one last time at featherweight before moving up to super feather.
Third time he's been rocked, and referee Rafael Ramos has beat it up. Perfect left hook.
You have to have real skills if you want to compete with Mikey Garcia. You can't just wing it.
A bit of hype was starting to build up for a possible bout with undefeated Yuriorkis Gamboa, which would have been a pretty big fight at the time, especially since Garcia became the WBO super featherweight champion. Unfortunately, the fight never came into fruition due to reasons and theories that would take forever to explain. The last big matchup brought into fight fans' attention was a WBO, WBA, and lineal unification bout with undefeated Takashi Uchiyama from Japan.
Do you have any familiarity with Uchiyama or Miura in Japan? Takashi? No.
I have no idea who they are.
Uchiyama was ranked number 1 in the world by Ring Magazine and was seen by many as the class of the super featherweight division.
The class of the division in Mikey Garcia, but Uchiyama's actually the class of the division right now, the veteran fighter who has beaten top fighters and looked good doing it.
With Uchiyama ranked at number 1 and Mikey Garcia at number 2, this automatically makes the fight eligible for the lineal title if they were to fight.
Without knowing who they are, I mean, would you be interested in Mikey perhaps facing one of the title holders from Japan?
To unify title, why not? Mikey's always had a dream of becoming undisputed champion at a weight division. You know, Mikey wants to unify the titles. He would love to. If the champions are from Japan and if Bob Arum could make those fights happen, then we would love to.
Unfortunately, that fight was not made either. And shortly after Garcia's title defense against Juan Carlos Burgos, Garcia was starting to have issues with Top Rank and Bob Arum, to where he purposely held out to get out of his contract, suing Top Rank in 2014. 2 years later, Garcia and Top Rank finally reach a mutual agreement, and Mikey is now a free man. Not fighting in the ring professionally, you would think that Mikey had lost a big step, but really, that was the complete opposite. During that period of time, Mikey was constantly active in the gym and staying in shape and sparring whenever he had a chance. He was notably sparring with Marcos Maidana in preparations with his fight with Floyd Mayweather. Mikey in his comeback fight against former WBC champion Elio Rojas. He easily won, and it showed that he didn't lose anything in those 2 years. He was now ready against the best in his new weight class of lightweight. Garcia gets his shot at the WBC Lightweight Championship against undefeated Dejan Zlaticanin in January of 2017, 3 years and 3 days since his last world title bout. Mikey made easy work knocking Dejan out, sending a message to the rest of the top fighters at 135 through 140 pounds. With a big win against Adrian Broner and the capturing of his 4th division title against Sergey Lipinets, the fight everyone and their mom wanted to see. was him against Jorge Linares, whom at the time was the WBA and lineal lightweight champion. There were talks for this fight, but unfortunately it did not fall through. Jorge went on to fight Vasyl Lomachenko, and Mikey found his next best opponent, a WBC IBF unification bout with Robert Easter Jr. Speed, power, defense, and fundamentals. For the speed category, after analyzing both guys, I would say it's about even. I'm slightly favoring Mikey when it comes to the speed category, as he is moving up in weight. A good fight to judge Mikey's speed above lightweight would be against Broner. Though Broner was quite inactive, whenever he did throw, it clearly showed he was the faster guy. The power advantage clearly goes to Spence Jr. Defense, I would have to go with Spence Jr. as well. I am impressed that Garcia was able to improve his defense tremendously over the past couple years. In his super featherweight days, Garcia came off as a slow starter, and back-to-back fights he was caught early, the Martinez fight being the first time he was knocked down. Since his comeback in 2016, he has corrected the kinks in his defense and is much more of a complete fighter, but I do not think his defense is good as Spence's. And lastly, fundamentals. As far as overall boxing fundamentals, I give it to Mikey Garcia. Amazing jab, he has power in both hands to keep his opponents honest regardless what weight class he's fighting in, all thanks to great punching technique. I like the way he transitions his offense to defense and not quick to rush in and fall for traps. A very passive-aggressive style. My prediction, who's going to win? I honestly don't know. It's a 50-50 fight. The reasons why I say that is because this is far different from Mikey's move from junior welter, but still being able to fight at lightweight. He was easily able to do that is because he didn't put any muscle on. He really didn't have to. But for this fight against Spence, to combat Spence's size, Mikey would need to put on actual mass to his overall base rather than just relying on his walking around weight, which it has clearly shown in the build-up that Mikey is putting on muscle for this fight. So when he does come in on weight and rehydrate, on fight day, it won't be too much of a mismatch. Do you agree with these points? And who do you think is going to win on the 16th? And on top of that, thanks for watching, and for more pre-fight reviews, be sure to like, and if you're new, subscribe. I'm Alpha Sancho, and I'm out.